There are very few industries that drones have not had some sort of impact on, and the railroad industry is not one of these exceptions. Currently, the FAA requires a line of sight to be used while operating a drone. This means that the pilot on the ground must be able to maintain eyesight on the vehicle at all times. Railroads are currently pushing for legislation for the use of autonomous drone flight, which one of the Class 1 railroads qualified for a program through the FAA called the Pathfinder Project and managed to conduct multiple successful and safe autonomous drone flights for hundreds of miles throughout their corridor. If this legislation were to be passed for railroads, it would greatly expand the use and effectiveness of these drones. Other uses for drones on the railroad have been seen in bridge inspections. Bridges, there are thousands of those on any given railroad's network that have to be inspected annually or biannually depending on the condition of the bridge, which requires a physical person to climb on top of the bridge and inspect every nut and bolt and connection on the bridge for any deficiencies. A drone would allow an inspector to be able to first visualize the bridge and identify any weak components that may need to be further inspected in person. There's also various different sensors just besides a video camera or which you can see here is used as an infrared to identify security threats or trespassers onto the railroad. There's also a survey component called LiDAR, which is light detection and ranging, which collects a vast amount of data. In the past, individual survey points had to be collected one at a time, which you can see here indicated by the red and yellow dots shown here on this map, which just required an individual to go out with a GPS unit or being the rod man and collect one of these data points at each time and enter in the data that was collected at each one of these points. With drones, that's no longer needed. You can actually set in this green box here, set your perimeter of your survey, click the go button, and then forget about it. The drone will then fly the route that you had predetermined and collect the vast amount of data, which can then be turned into 3D models, providing you with a vast amount of information, which we discuss next.
Here's an example of a 3D model that is provided on Florida SkyShot's website. It is of a water reclamation facility. A software processes pictures taken by drones to create a 3D model. To do so, the software uses photogrammetry, which is the science of taking measurements from photographs. This is a great tool for any construction project planning. It can really help visualize the space you're working with and if other spatial factors might affect the project. This can also be used mid-project to get a model on the status of the project. As you can see, the model has high resolution and can be easily manipulated and viewed from any angle.
Drones are being used now is through the use of photography. And I talked a little bit in the website about the uses within real estate. And also there is the drone's usage in photography for weddings. I was actually in a wedding this summer where the drone videographer / photographer was utilized. The drone flew over the wedding during the pre-ceremony, people arriving, the ceremony, the dinner party. And the unique part, I think, about the drone photographer and videographer is it takes angles in which angles that you couldn't get from just standing on the land. And so it's a really neat tool for consumers to be able to use for real estate, for weddings, and for a wide variety of future uses to come. So it'll be exciting to see how technology moves. So thank you for listening, and look forward to talking more later.
Drone racing is a highly competitive racing sport. Skilled pilots fly drones through three-dimensional courses at speeds up to 120 miles per hour. Drones are custom built for speed, agility, and performance. Pilots steer from the point of view of the drone wearing first-person view goggles that display a live image transmitted by an onboard camera. Flying a drone competitively at high speed using FPV goggles is an intense, immersive experience.